Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be reacting to the 96 Oscar awards. They just happened last night, and I was pleasantly surprised to see Oppenheimer take away so many awards. Coming out of that film, I thought it was one of the greatest films I ever saw in my life. It was definitely one of the best theater experiences I ever had, seeing it in IMAX, and I'm so happy to see that it won so many awards this year. I think going into it, I had it winning about 8 or 9. It came away with 7, so you can't be too greedy. That's still pretty great. But I really thought that this was a great year for Christopher Nolan because there's been so many years where he's been looked over. I mean, you talk about in 2008 with Slumdog Millionaire winning over The Dark Knight. I love Slumdog Millionaire, but it's not The Dark Knight. Or in 2014 where I think it was Alfonso Cuarón won for Best Director for Gravity, but I thought Interstellar was obviously the better space film. Anyways, I think Christopher Nolan got overlooked for a lot of his career, and he's finally getting his praise now. So let's go over the elephant in the room. We'll go over Oppenheimer first, and then I'll talk about some of the other films that won because I was pleasantly surprised there as well. So Best Director, obviously for Christopher Nolan. Like I said, I think it's much, much overdue. He probably should have 3 or 4 of these by now. He is that great of a director. I think by the end of his career, he will be seen as the greatest director of all time. In my eyes, he's kind of already passing Kubrick. He's like that great to me. I'm also from his generation, so there might be a little bit of bias there, but I love Nolan, and I'm so happy he won so many awards this year. Hopefully next year, it's a clean sweep for Denis Villeneuve, because those are my 2 favorite directors. I think they're the best directors by far right now, and I just saw Dune 2 about a week ago, and I'm probably going to predict that to win all of the Oscars next year. But we'll get to that video when the Oscars get announced in a few months, or I guess in like 10 months, however long the next cycle takes. But it won Best Feature as well, Oppenheimer. This is also the first time for Nolan, like I said, with Slumdog Millionaire. I think The Dark Knight, I think most of us see that as one of the greatest films of all time, maybe the greatest film of all time. And the fact that that didn't win really sucked. You know, for a long time, I kind of like looked at the Oscars almost like the Grammys. Like, some of you might remember when Macklemore won over Kendrick Lamar. That upset me quite a bit, and I was like, I'm done with the Grammys. But in the last couple of years, I've actually gone back and gotten back into the Oscars because I used to watch them a lot as a kid. But yeah, that left a sour taste in my mouth for a few years, just Christopher Nolan not winning the Oscars I thought that he deserved. But he got it here for Best Feature, Best Director. What else did Oppenheimer win? Well, it won Best Lead Actor, which I thought was a layup. I said in my prediction video for the Oscars that I thought Cillian Murphy was far and away the best actor of the year. I think, Leonardo DiCaprio was close. I thought he gave a really good performance, but you're going to need like a Revenant-type performance to match what Cillian Murphy did in Oppenheimer. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. The way he acted with his eyes was extraordinary. I haven't seen that in a long time, so I'm glad Cillian finally got the recognition he deserves, and hopefully we'll see him in more leading roles in the future. And then we also had Best Supporting Actor go to Robert Downey Jr. I also predicted that one because I thought that role was just so unique. We don't really see RDJ in those villain roles, but he played it so well and with such a charisma that it really, for me, that character was just as charismatic as Tony Stark, but in like a different kind of way. And I thought that was really special. It really showed Robert Downey Jr.'s range, and I'm happy he won that award as well. And there was also Best Original Score went to Oppenheimer. I'm also super excited about this because Ludwig Göransson, I know Christopher Nolan's been working more with this young talent and less so with Hans Zimmer while he goes off and does other things. But I love Ludwig. I think he's amazing. I thought the Tenet score was one of the coolest things I ever heard in my life. I was listening to it on repeat for a long time. And the Mandalorian soundtrack also was done by Ludwig. I think he is one of the most talented audio producers in the world, and I can't wait to see him work more with Christopher Nolan in the future. It also won Best Cinematography, which I think, again, you might have been able to give that to Poor Things, but I thought Oppenheimer was clear and away the best shot film. Just the atom bomb explosion scene alone, I think that should win the award because that was... I saw it in IMAX, so again, there might be a little bit of bias there because it was such an amazing experience, but seeing Oppenheimer in IMAX really blew me away, not to use too many puns, but it also won for Best Film Editing, which I thought for sure should have won. Now, some of you may be more or less familiar with editing, but if you go back and you watch Oppenheimer, the editing is really the strong point, I think, of the film, the editing and the writing. I think it's Christopher Nolan's best written film for dialogue and stuff like that, but it's also amazingly edited. For 3 hours, it doesn't feel like 3 hours, and it's very quick. You know, it's on to the next scene, nothing lingers. It is superbly edited. So those were the 7 wins for Oppenheimer, and I'm really happy about those. The next film that took away a ton of Oscars was my second favorite film of the year. It was Poor Things. And I loved this film. I just showed it to Hunter the other day, and he was enthralled with it too. It's definitely one of the most unique, one of the weirdest films I've ever seen in my life. And I love it. It's one of my personal favorites for sure. So Best Actress went to Emma Stone. I think she deserves that. She's one of the greatest actresses of our generation, and she did a phenomenal job in Poor Things, especially at the beginning of the film. It also won for Best Hair and Makeup, Best Production Design, and Best Costume Design. So I'll kind of lump all those together because this film visually is the most unique piece of cinema I've seen in a long time. Like, you have to go back to like Gaspar Noé or David Lynch to find something this unique in its color and production design and makeup, and all the things I just mentioned were so well done. It was so beautiful. It really brought you into this world that I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know how much of that world is reality and how much of it is like an alternate universe. Poor Things is a trip, and I can't wait to watch it again. So that won 4 Oscars, which I was really happy about because that was probably my second favorite film of the year. There's 2 other films that I really want to talk about, and then I'll go over a couple things at the end and wrap this video up. So the one thing is The Boy and the Heron winning Best Animated Feature. This is one of my favorite Ghibli movies of all time. Like, I put this probably second to Spirited Away. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys don't rank it that high. I really like Princess Mononoke and Castle in the Sky, but something about The Boy and the Heron was so deep to me, and I thought it was so well done. It really gave me that feeling I had when I first watched Spirited Away, and I can't wait to do a full analysis for that film because I think it's a very deep film, and it touched me, and I loved that. I'm so happy that that won Best Animated Feature. Best Sound. So this is another category that I thought was going to go to Oppenheimer because the sound was amazing in Oppenheimer. I thought this is for sure going to Oppenheimer. But it went to Zone of Interest. And I want to talk about Zone of Interest real quick because a lot of you probably haven't seen it, but you should because it is one of the best war films that I've seen in a long time. And it's like, it's not on the level of Come and See for how dark and just unnerving it is, but it's close. It is damn close. To kind of sell you guys on the film without spoiling it, basically you're on the outside of Auschwitz the whole film. You don't see any of you see like a couple prisoners, but you don't see anything in the camp the whole film. You're on the other side of the wall, but right on the other side where all the guards live. And you're kind of following this commandant and his family and how they're trying to live a normal life. They're like planting flowers, building ponds and swimming pools, and they're trying to live a normal life, but you know, they're hearing gunshots in the background and people screaming, and that sound is what makes the film. It makes it so eerie because you're watching this thing play out and you don't see anything, like I said, but you hear it. You hear it in the background constantly, and it's so unnerving. And then the last scene, man, the last scene is so shocking. It was the most shocking ending to a film I saw all year. That hit hard. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I don't want to spoil it for you, but the ending of Zone of Interest is one of the most shocking things I've ever seen. It's very similar to how Come and See ends, where it's so out of left field, and you're like, wow. So I loved Zone of Interest. I wanted it to go to Oppenheimer, but I'm very happy it went to Zone of Interest because the way it used sound was very unique. It was kind of like Sound of Metal a couple years ago, you know, that it uses sound to tell its story. It's beautiful. Best Supporting Actress. I wanted it to go to Emily Blunt so that Oppenheimer could take away 9 Oscars, but it went to Davine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers, and I really liked The Holdovers. I thought it was a nice. I think I was like sick when I watched it, and it was a nice cozy film to just wrap up in bed and watch on a weekend. And I really liked The Holdovers, so I recommend that one as well. I will also shout out the Best Original Screenplay and Best Adapted Screenplay. Usually I pay more attention to these, and I didn't this year, so I do apologize. I haven't seen Anatomy of the Fall or American Fiction yet. It's on my list. I'll probably get around to it relatively soon. But if you guys want to let me know in the comments why I should go watch those films, I love it when you guys sell me on films like that, and it usually gets me to go watch it right away. So that's basically everything I wanted to talk about today. I just kind of wanted to react to some of the winners and not really any losers. Everybody that I wanted to win won, so I'm pretty happy with the Oscars last night, and I want to hear what you guys thought in the comments. Did you guys think anybody got shafted, or do you think an award should have went somewhere else? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps boost this channel and the algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.